Oh, yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube with Mr. Melvin Hurwitz. Melvin, how you doing today?
I'm just grand, thank you.
Yeah?
Or as they used to say in the olden days, I'm swell.
Swell.
Good to see you, Mel.
Well,
Nice. And also joining us today is Joe Conway, who is one of our team members here at the Best Defense Foundation, been with us since day one. And me and Joe have traveled the world together. Literally almost every corner of the earth you and I have
We've been
to for a long time, like 6 years.
Yeah, we've been to a few places. It's been a good time. Good times together.
Great experiences with lots of different amazing veterans, heard incredible stories, and got to visit the battlegrounds of all these guys all over the world. It's been incredible. So Joe lives over on the East Coast near Melvin, so they're good friends. So figured they know each other real well, so this will be a good time. Now, Melvin, where do you hail? Where do you live?
I live in Frederick, Maryland.
Frederick, Maryland. Right on.
Frederick is a town about 30 miles from Baltimore and 30 miles from Washington. It's like a triangle.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, instead of us introducing you and telling your story and all that, let's just start bringing people in and they can ask the questions.
All right.
And they can get all that good info out of you. Huh?
If I know
Ready?
it,
You ready, Melvin?
I'm ready.
You excited? Get pumped. All right. So we're going to start bringing people in. Let's see. The first three we're going to bring in are Paolo, Mike, and Peyton. So Paolo, you're first, then Mike, then Peyton. So be ready. Make sure if you're joining on the Zoom, make sure your YouTube audio is turned down so we don't get an echo, and just be ready with that light and make sure your audio is turned on. So let's go. Paolo, you're coming in. Paolo. Paolo. Yeah.
There it is.
Paolo.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello, Paolo.
What's up? Hello, Mr. Melvin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to see you, Paolo.
First of all, I would like to thank you very much for your service and all what you did for this world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And my name is Paulo. I am from Brazil and I am 18 years old.
18?
Yes, 18 years old.
All right. Brazil.
Yes, from Brazil. Yes, sir. I would like to ask you some questions.
Okay.
The first question I would like to ask you is, do you remember the last time you saw your parents before you go to war?
The last time I saw
Your parents.
my parents
Yes.
before I went to war,
Yes.
yes, I remember.
What kind of experience was that?
Well, I'll tell you a little story first. I came from a family, I was one of four boys. The youngest boy was in the Army. The next boy was in the Navy. The third was in the Marine Corps, and I was in the Air Force. There were four brothers, all in a different branch of the service.
Wow.
My parents were getting used to saying goodbye to their sons as they went off. The Marine went first, the Navy man went second, I went third, and my youngest brother, Jerry, went fourth. So they saw me to the train station, and they always say goodbye. And my mother was very depressed, sort of, a third boy leaving for the service, but that's another story.
Whoa.
They saw us all off, Paulo.
Whoa.
Did you all make it back?
Hmm?
Yes.
Did you all make it back?
All made it back.
Wow.
Whoa. Whoa.
Have
That's
a picture.
Whoa, it's crazy, crazy story. Yes. I would like to ask you another question, Mr. Melvin.
Mhm.
What inspired you to enlist in the Army?
All right. After I graduated high school, I decided to go to college. I was too young to go in the service, or very close to it. So I went to Nashville, Tennessee to George Peabody College. I lived in Maryland. I was part of Vanderbilt University. And I was talking to the boys down there, and they knew the draft was coming, that I would eventually have to go in. And one of the fellows said, why don't you join the Air Force? It was the Air Corps at the time. That you always have a bed, always have a hospital, and you always have something to eat, and you wear silver wings, and the girls love silver wings. That sold me. The silver wings sold me. So I went down to the Army Air Corp recruiting office in Nashville, Tennessee, and I joined the Army Air Corp. Then they sent me back to Maryland, and I was inducted in Maryland at Fort Holabird in the summer of '43.
Oh,
Wow.
cool. And my last question is, do you remember your first mission during the war?
Very well. All exciting. The first time that we've been up to 35,000 feet with full weather gear and so forth, wearing it. And it was all very exciting, but I do remember it.
Oh, very nice. And what was what did you have to do in your first mission? The
Well,
objective of the mission, yes.
the objective was bombing. First mission was in Czechoslovakia. And
Whoa.
I did a couple in Czechoslovakia and a couple in Germany. I have the exact dates here, but that's not too important. But we dropped bombs on rail yards, train rail yards, and so forth. And we came back safely. Very exciting.
Yes.
Very exciting for a young kid who was 19 years old or 20 and
Oh.
never been away from home. And all of a sudden, here I was, way up in the sky.
Whoa, very
Way
nice.
up in the sky, shooting machine guns.
Although I was a radio operator. They called it
Whoa.
radio gunner. So I had a little table there, and with my radio equipment and headphones, and we had to learn the Morse code in order to be able to make contact if necessary. I never had to do it, but in case of an emergency, we always had that.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
You still remember
Nice.
Morse code?
Oh, yeah. I have a little
Yeah.
story about Morse code.
Oh, yeah.
When I went to radio school, I aced the Morse code test. I took about 28, 30 words a minute by hand. And the instructor said, man, you're so much better than everybody else. What do you think? How can you do that? And I told him, well, I said, I was a drummer, which I was. I used to play the drums in the Boy Scouts, marching band, and
Oh,
so
nice.
forth. And in college, I played the drums. So I had that rat-a-tat-tat in my head. And from drumming. And it was not foreign to me. And that's why I was able to do that.
Very
Hey, Melvin, can you explain to us a little bit about how cold it was at 35,000 feet with open?
Well, if you didn't have the proper gear wearing it, you'd freeze in 5 minutes. You'd freeze to death.
That's because like you're
Ooh.
where you're sitting. There's open because you guys had to get your guns through, so there's open
Oh, yeah, it's open.
passageways. That's
That's
something
called
that honestly I've never even thought
the
about.
waist gunner. That was on either side of the B-17,
Yeah.
middle, and little off center in the back towards the middle. And it was all open, and you had the gun right there. So the
So you're probably talking
Huh?
you're probably talking minus 50 degrees at 200
Oh,
miles
yeah.
per hour.
Oh,
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Different.
That's
different
crazy.
world
'Cause
out
that's
there.
something like you don't even think about. You think they're in a plane, they're fine. Like you don't think about
Yeah.
all the access holes and all the different
Stuff moving
places
around, I
where
tell you.
air is just coming in.
Stuff moving around.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long were you
Crazy.
in them at a time?
The mission was 6-7 hours.
Oh man.
You leave
You guys
about
had,
five.
were you
6
guys
in the
well
morning.
equipped to stay warm?
You know, call it the uniform, kept you warm.
Yeah.
It's comfortable in there, but you did there. You had a mask on but to breathe. You know, you looked like a spaceman.
That's pretty cool.
yes.
Well, cool. Paolo, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you,
Thank you,
Austin.
Paolo. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mr. Melvin. Thank you
Yeah,
so much
yourself.
for your service and for your sacrifice. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. We are all grateful for your service. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Thanks.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye. Pretty cool, huh, Melvin?
Yeah,
All the way from Brazil.
all the way from Brazil. That's amazing.
I know, it's pretty cool. All right. Next, we're going to bring in Mike. Now, Joe, I imagine you spent a lot of time with Melvin. I'm sure he tells you some pretty fantastic stories.
Yeah, just even the journey over across to Europe was pretty interesting. The way they went about it in the B-17. Can you tell us about that, Mel?
Sure.
How you left the States?
After all my running around to radio school and gunnery school and so forth, I ended up in Dill Field in Tampa, Florida, and that was the station where they made up the crews to get onto the plane. So we met 10 other guys I'd never seen before. We didn't know each other, and we were told that that's who we're going to be with and fly with. And we flew from Dill Field, Tampa, Florida to Bangor, Maine, with one stop in Georgia somewhere. I don't know why we stopped, but they went up to Bangor, Maine, which was the embarkation spot for the B-17 to fly over to England. And we flew to Gander and Newfoundland, Goose Bay, Gander, and Newfoundland. And each of those places we refueled. From there, we went to Greenland and refueled again. We did not get off the plane in Greenland. Excuse me a minute. We did not get off the plane in Greenland. And then we flew to Iceland. Iceland was an adventure because we were caught in a snowstorm.
Oh,
And we
wow.
were snowbound in Iceland for about 7 or 8 days. And it was really an adventure. You had to, when you walked from your Quonset hut to the food, to get your food, you had to lock hands, 4 guys together, so you wouldn't get blown off path till you get to where you were going.
Wow.
And we stayed there. It was an adventure. The boys like to gamble. They're playing cards and gambling all the time and dice and so forth. I wasn't into that. So one time a guy says, "Hurwitz, you ever cut hair?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, here's the scissors. Cut my hair. It's getting old." So I cut his hair. Looked pretty good. Somebody else wanted to cut hair. So I became a barber and I made a buck
That's
Up
awesome.
here, that's Iceland. Another adventure in Iceland was, we had to, one person had to stay on the plane at night to guard it. You just couldn't let the plane sit there. So one night I had duty all night on the plane, and there's a little hut there, and there were 4 Welshmen there, and they had a little pot stove. They made tea, and they brought me tea, and they taught me some Welsh words. We were talking, having fun that way, and that was a lot of fun. So
Very cool. That's very cool.
then we
Love
left.
the story.
We left Iceland, and we flew to England, and we landed in Holyhead, Wales. That's the westernmost tip of the British Isles there. And in Holyhead, we took a train, and we went down through Birmingham and on to East Anglia, which was the east coast of England, where all of the air bases were, because that was closest to the continent.
Very cool.
Landed in a town, most people would know if they know England, Ipswich. And our air base was about 5 miles outside of Ipswich. It was called Debach, Debach. Most every other farm had an air base on there. And we're very close together with all of them. And that's where I became a member of the 493rd Bomb Group. Pardon me. The 493rd was the last bomb group to be formed in the 8th Air Force. And I was there until the end.
Very cool. Well, Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Very cool. I can't really
Mike, I
see
can't
you
see
very
Mike.
well.
Yeah, so sorry about that.
Pretty dark.
Yeah.
But
Where are you living, Mike?
I'm
You
from
are-
Ontario, Canada.
There you go.
Canada, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mike, you're live with Mr. Melvin Hurwitz, and the floor is
Hello.
yours.
Hello, Mr. Melvin. How you
Hello,
doing?
Mr. Mike.
So my question is do you think that being in a plane, flying in a battle, you had it better than people on the ground or in the Navy, or do you think you had it worse
I
or
think
about the
so.
same?
That's, I don't know if I could have endured sloshing through mud and going through what the infantry went through. They went through hell, excuse the expression, but we had hell in our own way. But I can't imagine being down there on the ground. It must have been terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the stories we hear are insane, but
You can
we
see
hear some pretty
right,
incredible stories. I mean, I just like,
hand-to-hand combat.
yeah,
I
but
was
like
up there, and there
being
was
up on a plane like that
up
is
there
just
was frightening and
terrifying.
dangerous, but you know, you were alone.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, like, I don't even like really being in a plane in a good situation. Like when it's not scary, I can't imagine what it would be like having that double damage where you're in a plane and you're being shot at. Like,
Yeah.
it's like that just seems
I
insane to me.
never saw any fighters, but I saw some flak.
Yeah.
What kind of thoughts and feelings did you have whenever you saw your first plane go down?
Well, you saw one go down, Joe.
Okay.
One went down. You just wondered who was in there, you know. Did I know them? When you're 18 or 19 years old, you've never been away from home, and things like that happen, you don't know how you're going to feel. You don't feel frightened, but you're excited. I don't know how you're excited. I remember saying to myself, what are you doing up here? How did you get here? 35,000 feet up and breathing.
Questioning your whole young life at that point.
Uh,
Oh man, get it. Mike, you got anything else you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I just have one more question is, did you ever keep in contact with the people that you served with after the war?
What's the question? I can't quite get that.
Sorry?
How many combat missions?
Oh, no, I was asking, did you ever keep in contact with the people you served with after the war?
I'm not understanding him.
So did you, like after the war, did you keep in contact with any of your, your
Yes.
comrades or anything?
One, I became friends with my pilot. My pilot was a little different. He didn't hang out with the other officers, but he would come down to our enlisted man bunk and he'd play cards with us and hang out with us. He's the only one who did that. He lived in California. His name was Stan Castor. So I looked him up after the war. My wife and I went to California and we met him at a restaurant midway between Los Angeles and Canoga Park where he lived. And we had a good meeting together. And then he got remarried and he took a cruise ship from California to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which my wife and I had retired to Florida. So they came and stayed with us and we had a good reunion together. And I said, Stanley, tell me something. Why did you hang out with us enlisted guys and never with the officers, your co-pilot, the bombardier, and navigator? And he said, I'll tell you why. He said, I was only 20 or 21 years old. And he said, I had a terrible responsibility with you guys that played. And all they wanted to do was go out and party and hang around and drink. He said, I couldn't afford to do that. I just stayed home and studied and made sure that I knew everything was right. And that's why he sort of became unpopular with the other guys because he wouldn't hang out with them. So he hung out with them.
That's the guy you want on your team, though.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh man, that's cool. Well, Mike, it was great to have you on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you
questions.
for the time.
Absolutely.
Thank
We're
you for
gonna
your
bring
service, Mr. Hurwitz.
Good to
Yeah,
talk
go
to
ahead.
you, Mike.
It was great. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for everything you did.
Stay warm up there in Canada.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. See you later, Mike.
Bye.
All right. So next we're gonna bring in Peyton. And I'm trying to remember where Peyton's from. I lose track, but
We'll find out.
we'll find out. We'll find out.
Peyton G.
Peyton G.
Do I turn my camera on?
Yes, please. Oh, hi Peyton. I remember you
Hi,
from a couple
Peyton.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Go ahead
I
and
couldn't do it
tell.
last.
Yeah, tell Melvin how old you are and where you're from.
I'm 12 years old and I'm from Michigan.
All right.
Very cool.
Nice to see you, Peyton.
Nice to see you too. Can I ask you a few questions?
Surely.
Did you have like any dogs? Like, I don't know, search and rescue dogs maybe?
Any dogs?
Yeah, dogs.
Not in the service, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Were there a lot of guys that had dogs assigned to them?
I don't know. I never saw any dogs around the Air Force Base.
So I know there was dogs in the war.
But yeah, I imagine that's more of an infantry type situation.
Yeah.
Maybe on a naval ship, they might have a little pet dog or something, but I never saw any animals. Never saw-
Oh, okay.
Maybe a big burger.
Did you get injured like while you were at war?
Any what?
Did you get
No, did you
injured?
get injured?
No, not at all.
Came out clean, huh?
Came out clean.
That's actually that seems to be more rare. The more guys we talk to.
Little heartbreak with some of the girls I've met along the way, but
You only had emotional damage. Jeez. That's awesome.
ever short on like supplies, like I don't know, bullets or clothes or food or anything?
What did Peyton say?
I said, were you ever short on like supplies, like I don't know, bullets or food or clothes or anything really?
Did you ever have anything that was short supply, like you ran out of,
No.
ammo or food, or
No, that's why I joined the Air Corps.
the Air Force was pretty well taken care of, huh?
Make sure we had plenty of food. Made good. In fact, that little story, there's always a story to everything.
Yeah.
One of the benefits to me personally was after the missions, they either gave you a shot of whiskey or a glass of orange juice. I want the shot of whiskey, and a lot of fellows didn't drink, so I drank their whiskey. They drank my.
You drank all their whiskey.
We make a switch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, could you tell?
Every time you come down, whenever you come off of a mission, you had an interrogation where all your crews would sit around a table and somebody would ask you questions and they would annotate everything that you told them. And that's when you get your little pick me up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Could you like just tell us what happens in a normal day when you have a bombing mission? Just briefly, like what time you get up, what happens, what you're expected, how.
I usually got up around 5 o'clock.
Okay.
5 o'clock. Yeah, shower, breakfast, and enlisted men did not go, as I remember, did not go to too many briefings.
Okay.
That was for the officers.
Did you even know where you were going on those missions when you left the ground?
Yes, when we left the ground, we knew where we were going.
Okay.
He told us. He told us where we were going, and but we didn't know ahead of time.
What was your mentality like? Were you thinking like, I'll see you guys back here tonight, or were you thinking like, this might be my last trip?
Yeah, you always thought, will this be your last one? Always.
Yeah.
Because you saw so many, and there are a lot of stories of cruise ships that did not come back. I mean, that was the main running story amongst all of them was who didn't come back.
And even
When you, what is it, Joe?
He asked you, Joe, what were you going to say?
oh, I was just going to say, even rallying the planes in formation was very dangerous. Correct?
Yeah, a lot of planes joining up. You joined up with not only your own squadrons, but then you joined up with adjoining squadrons of other air bases in order to make up the. Sometimes the joining up between the squadrons could take an hour in the air, just jogging and waiting for others to catch up and getting into position. It could take quite a long time before you got in position to go overseas.
Wow.
And it was always a tense time when you weren't flying and you were waiting back at the base, and then you would hear the drones of the airplanes coming back from Europe, from the mainland, and you would count the numbers of planes as they came. And of course, in your air base, that's number 6 is in, and number 24 is in, and so forth. And trying to count as to how many and if they're all returning or not.
Wow. Wow. Well,
Yeah, hard to imagine.
yeah. Peyton, did you have something else you wanted to ask?
Yeah,
Okay.
did you have to like sit in foxholes all day, or like what did you do like during the bombings, or what they were?
what I feel like.
No, I said
No,
what were like. Well, you were. Yeah, she's asking what you were doing on the bombing missions. What your
Oh.
specific
Sitting
role
in
was.
foxholes waiting
I
for
was
people.
I was just sitting at my table, the radio table, or if we were in a area where there might be fighter planes, the Luftwaffe, the German Air Force, that we would stand by our guns, be on the alert for any planes, but that never happened. When I was in the service, the Germans had the planes, they were running out of pilots, plus they did not have the oil. We had bombed all of the oil factories at the rail yards, and they did not have the oil to put up the airplanes. That was toward the end of the war. I was there at the end of the war. And
Okay.
the German had taken quite a beating, and I was lucky that way that I didn't have to have fighters to. So we never fought women fire our guns in any enemy at all.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, Peyton, thanks for coming by.
Thank you, Peyton.
You want to say one last thing before you go?
Take care, everybody in Michigan, Peyton.
No, I will. I just wanted to say that a lot of people are so grateful for you, people like you that did that, and we have a debt that we can just never fully repay. And I'm really thankful that we have people like you.
What was that?
She's saying that we have a debt that we could never repay, and we're very thankful for people like you.
Well, I'm so grateful for a young lady like you, Peyton, who has an interest in the past and what's happened, because the future sometimes is predicated on what happened in the past. And it's delightful to have you with us and to be interested, and you continue your studies and your good work, and you can be a fine young lady.
You.
Good words. Good
Yeah,
words.
good job, Peyton.
All right. Thanks, Peyton. Hopefully we'll see you again.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. I love it. I love it. Oh, I love the kids. They're just so cool. They're so nice.
Yeah, really.
So interested. So rad. All right. So next we're going to bring in Grayson. Then after that, Radu. Then after that, Nathan. So Grayson, you're coming up. And Radu, and then Nathan. So let's keep this going. You having fun, Melvin?
Yeah, fine. As long as my voice holds up,
You let us know if you need to take a break or anything.
That's a 96-year-old voice,
96, you're young.
Yeah.
You're one of the young guys. What's up, Grayson? Can you hear us?
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Very cool.
Oh, my bad.
Who's this? Grayson Mobley.
I have the stream up. My bad.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
Where do you
Yeah,
live,
well,
Grayson?
You got your screen on projection in the back? That's dope.
Oh yeah. I got a projector. I got my roommate here. This is Paul.
Nice. What's up, Paul?
From Texas? I see a Baylor sign there.
Yeah, Baylor University, Texas.
Okay.
So first off, I'd like to say thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate everything you've done for our country. Last semester, I was a history major. I was originally wanting to go in, my dream job would have been the Smithsonian. I would have wanted to both serve as outreach and also serving by the memory. I want to serve veterans, but now I've actually changed my major so I can go into physical therapy, which I figure would be a
Cool.
better way to serve veterans a little more directly. That's
Good for you. Good for you.
What's that jacket you got on there?
oh yeah. This is a jacket that my mom got me last Christmas, and this is probably my absolute favorite possession.
Grayson?
Yeah.
Will you tell the people at the Best Defense Fund that I'd like to have one of those T-shirts you're wearing.
It's good.
All right,
It's-
we'll
it's
send
really
you a
comfortable.
shirt.
That's neat.
We'll send you a shirt. Actually, we gotta get you one of these sweatshirts. I like these.
I wear a large.
You can get these sweatshirts on our website now. We got our store up. This thing is super comfy.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. But we'll get you a shirt, Melvin. Don't worry about that. Well,
Okay.
Grayson, the floor is yours. Go ahead and ask some questions.
Thank you. So I had a couple questions. One of them, I assume that you guys had to maintain radio silence after a certain point into your flight over the enemy territory.
Right. Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Were there any circumstances where you'd be allowed to break radio silence?
Only if the pilot told us.
Okay.
He was the boss. He was in touch with the other planes when we were not over enemy territory. Once we were over enemy territory, then everybody was silent. We had a something called a trailing wire antenna. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Trailing wire antenna is on a roll. It's a wire, and you press a button, and this antenna drops down maybe 30, 40 feet.
Hmm.
That helps us, will help me send a radio signal. But I did not have to use a trailing wire antenna, and I never had to use my training because there's no emergency.
Now, explain to people why you had to have radio silence at a certain point.
Well, because the enemy was monitoring all the airways. They knew you talking what to say. And they knew the Morse code as well as you did. So if you were, they could triangulate and find out where you were.
Even back then, with that old technology, they could still pinpoint you, huh?
Sure.
That's pretty. See, I think a lot of people don't even think about that, like, because now it's just so commonplace. Like, you know, like anybody could find out where I am at any point because I have this
where
freaking
that
phone.
signal's coming from.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, Grayson, go ahead.
Next
Um,
question.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was wondering, what was the name of the plane that you're on, or did you guys ever put like any artwork on the nose and all?
Okay. The main plane that we flew in, we had to give a name because it did not have a name. So, and we had an artist on the crew, and we named that plane the Organized Confusion. And it was a beautiful plane and a beautiful drawing. And that A2 jacket that was from our plane is now in the museum in England, in the air base, the Devon Museum that we flew out of. I had a good friend who was the treasurer and president of the 493rd Bomb Group, and she wore that A2 jacket over to England, and now I have a picture of it on display. And that's the only A2 jacket in that museum that actually originated from somebody who flew out of that air base.
And
Really?
that's your jacket?
That's my jacket that I wore.
Wow.
You took a picture of it. I had
Yeah,
a picture
wow.
in the living room of that jacket. Another plane that flew in, which I have a picture of here,
Show it.
was called the Tailor Made. And I think I'm going to show you a picture.
Yeah, no, you flew that into Holland, right?
Yeah. Tailor Made. I flew into Holland. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah.
Raise it up just a little bit.
That's the Tailor Made. And I
Wow.
flew in that very plane
Wow.
in the Holland missions.
That is cool. Are you in the crew in the photo right there?
No, that was a plane. That was a
Okay.
different crew. But obviously at that point, that crew was not able to fly. So they took our crew and put it in that plane.
Oh, okay.
While I have this, fellas, this is an interesting book that I halves that's just on our 493rd Bomb Group alone. And it's
Wow.
called Helton's Hellcats. And our General Helton was the commander of the base and so forth.
Just
Would
happens
you,
to have such a nice ring to it. Hilton's Hellcats.
Yeah.
could you tell us a little bit about the missions you flew into Holland?
What's that?
Could you tell us a little bit about the missions you flew into
Yeah,
Holland?
I flew 2 missions into Holland, May 1st and 2nd. The first one was into Rotterdam. The second one was into Haarlem. I understand that Haarlem is one of the tulip capitals of the world. More tulips come out of Holland than any place, out of
Yeah.
Haarlem, any place. And I remember we flew as low as 300 and 400 feet. That's really low. We dropped food. The Dutch were starving, and we knew it. And General Eisenhower and General Beadle stocked tons and tons of food. And we dropped it to the Dutch. One big field, as we were coming in, had "Thank you, Yanks" spelled out in tulips.
And the tulips?
Acres and acres of field. And you
Wow.
could see this, and it would really choke you up. It chokes me up to think about it at the time. Because here you were, thousands of miles from home, and going through all this stuff, and then they made this sign out of flowers. So they
Wow.
could say thank you. That was the way they could contact you.
That's
Very
incredible.
It's really
It's
special.
written up in most of the stories that they tell about probably.
Oh, that's
But
incredible.
the Dutch were really starving, and there's a story of Audrey Hepburn, the movie actress. She benefited from the food that we dropped because she was without food for so many times in Holland. And Audrey Hepburn, through all her fame and wealth that she accumulated through her life, she still suffered certain maladies of malnutrition that she suffered when the Dutch were starving in World War II.
Wow. And now, are you talking about Operation Chowhound? Is that what you're talking about?
Operation Chowhound. I've got a book here. I want you to see. I just discovered this book. I got it from Amazon. It's a fairly new book.
Oh, cool.
See it?
Yeah, I have to get that.
Operation
Yeah.
Chowhound, and it says the most risky, the most glorious U.S. bomber mission of World War II. And it tells all about it. And what in this book, I haven't completely finished it yet, but it goes into the complete story of the Netherlands, the situation with the security and the spy work, and all that went into the Allies' operation and getting in and out of Holland with the food, which eventually resulted in the dropping of the Chowhound.
Wow.
So this book was written by Stephen Dando Collins and Operation Chowhound.
I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah.
Well, Grayson, did you have another question?
Endless curiosity, but for now, that's the only
All
only
right.
questions I have.
Okay, well, take care of things down there in Texas, will you?
Thank you.
You got a good start in life. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure to talk to you.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
Just to finish off, it's amazing to talk to you. And again, thank you for your service and have a blessed day. All of you guys.
Keep them flying.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right, cool. See you later, Grayson. Love it. So cool. So cool to see these guys that are so interested. All right. I hope I'm saying this right, but Radu, you're coming in.
Who's this?
I think it's Radu, R-A-D-U. I don't know.
Radu.
Let's find out.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm
Hello,
sorry,
Robert.
my camera isn't working.
Oh, no.
I
So we can hear you. Can you hear us fine?
yes, I wanted
All right.
to show you something on camera, but it's
Where
not
do you
working.
live, Radu?
Hello. In Romania, and I'm 14
Romania.
years old.
Okay.
Like
Very cool.
9,000 kilometers away from America.
Yeah. You're about as far away from us as you can get.
That's right.
Yes.
Up in
Very cool. Well-
Czechoslovakia, that's as close as you can get.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Radu, very, very nice to meet you. You are live with Mr. Melvin Hurwitz, so go ahead and ask a question.
First, I want to say hello to you and thank you for your service, even if I don't live in America.
Thank you so much.
And
How old are
I-
you, Radu?
14.
14, all right.
Yes. And I come from a military family. My great grandfather served in World War II in Stalingrad.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Where?
In Stalingrad.
Yes.
Wow.
Now that was he in the Battle of Stalingrad, like
Yes.
thick of it? Wow.
In the Romanian army.
Wow.
When
In the German
fought-
army?
In the Romanian
yes.
army.
Romanian army.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Romanian army, but at that time they were allied with Germany.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think. Yes.
Wow. Did you get to meet your grandfather?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, okay.
He passed away.
That would've
And
been
I don't know a lot of details about him. I asked my mom, but she didn't remember everything. I mean, the brigade.
That would've been
Some things
amazing
go
to
by
hear
the
his story.
wayside. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you got Mr. Melvin Hurwitz here, so go ahead.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, how did you feel when you got home?
How did I
From the-
feel when I got home?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, after the war was over, I flew back to the United States. I flew over and I flew back from England. So when I touched down in America, I said to myself, I'll never fly another minute. I was so grateful to come through it alive.
Yeah.
But in 3 weeks, I was on a plane to Eastern Airline to Miami, Florida, to visit my cousin. So that didn't last very long.
Do you still fly and enjoy
Oh,
it?
love to go in the air, right?
Okay.
I don't-
I never been in there.
You've never been in the air?
No, really. I mean,
Ah,
no.
I'm not a big fan of flying myself.
I do. Your time will come.
If I could drive to Europe, I would instead of fly. I'd much rather.
Just don't come to Romania. It's not so good.
It's not so good right now.
Hmm.
I don't think. Have we been to Romania, Joe? I forget. All
I
the
don't think, no,
different
not,
places
no,
we've been
we've not been there.
to. Okay.
I've not been there.
Yeah.
An advice for don't come. It's better that way.
How far is Romania next to Belarus?
I think like we have a border with Moldova. That is a border with Ukraine. I mean, yeah, we have the border with Ukraine. So not very far
Well,
away.
you're not far from Belarus.
Not very far.
My
think
parents,
so.
my father was born in Belarus.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Where? In which city? If you don't.
Minsk. He's from Minsk.
Oh, the capital.
Oh, okay. I remember one time we were in Poland and we went up to the border of Belarus and saw all the armed guards and realized, yeah,
Oh,
let's
really?
not go to Belarus
You were
today.
there?
We chose against it.
Uh-huh.
But so Radu, you got any other questions?
Yes, I
Am I saying your name right?
yes, I don't. It's not really easy in English to say it.
Tell me what it is.
In Romanian, it's Radu.
Radu.
Yes, it's good.
Okay, is good. Love it. All right, go ahead.
I don't know if it has I don't know if it's connected, but I wanted to ask what did you think about the SS troops like 36th Dill Field Brigade and 29th Grenadier Division? I mean, they were the meanest of the meanest.
Can you help me, Austin, on that?
He said, what did you think of like the SS? What was your perception of them? Like, how did you feel about them personally? Like,
About what?
the SS, the Nazis,
The Nazis.
the Nazis,
Schutzstaffel.
the SS.
Schutzstaffel.
I'm not getting it.
The SS
Schutzstaffel.
troops. Yeah, the
SS.
SS troops, the special German troops, the SS.
Oh, I had no contact with them, but
Okay.
I have another story. Oh,
Okay.
All right.
One
Another story coming in.
Radu, one story leads to another story.
Yep,
That's right.
that's what we're here for. Story time with Melvin Hurwitz. Let's go.
When the war was over, after the food missions, we flew into Linz, Austria. And in Linz, I remember seeing the Danube. You hear the song, The Beautiful Blue Danube?
Yes.
It was
It's
a muddy mess. Danube was not blue at all. But anyway, Linz, Austria, that was the birthplace, by the way, of Adolf Hitler, but that's another story. We flew into Linz, Austria, and we picked up French prisoners of war who had been captives of the Germans for could be 2, 3, 4 years, depending on the situation. And they were dirty and filthy and emaciated and frightened. And we took all of their clothes and deloused them. Radu, delousing is sort of a powder that they put on you. It's supposed to kill germs and any kind of infection diseases that you may carry. And we deloused them and we burned their clothes in a big pit, and we wrapped them in blankets, and we put them one by one sitting in the fuselage on either side of the plane. And we flew these men back to Chantilly, France. It's American, we say Chantilly, but Chantilly, France, and we dropped them off, and we went back the next day. We slept over at an old building that looked like it made into an old hotel or something, makeshift. And that night they had a big carnival in town. The war was just over. The French were beside themselves. And we were these young American kids going to this carnival in Chantilly, France. And it was wonderful. We learned three French words: trois vins blancs, 3 white wines. My buddies, 2 buddies and I, we drank white wine. That's what we learned.
That's all you needed.
I thought we learned to speak French.
3 white wines.
Speak French. Trois vins blancs. So then we went back for a second trip to Linz and got another group and brought them to Chantilly, and then we went back to our base.
Very cool.
Oh.
Wow.
Another story.
Well, Radu, do you have any other questions?
Yes, just one more.
All right, perfect.
Did you like the time in the military?
Then I do
The Air
like
Force.
Did you enjoy your time in the military?
at the time I didn't think I did. You know, I was not used to any kind of regimentation at all. But after I got out, I had fond memories of it because the guys were very much your buddies, and you were friends with people all over the country, just like we're friends now with people all over the world.
Mhm.
We were friends. I had a Swede from Michigan, I think, and another one from Wabages Falls, New York, our engineer. And I did visit one fella, Smitty from Shamokin, Pennsylvania, when I was traveling through that town. So
It's a classic war.
they were all over. Of course, one was from Bakersville, California, and
Oh,
one was from Texas. So that's how it was. And we all worked together and had a job to do. And thank the Lord we came out of it okay.
Absolutely.
it's said that most
But-
of the sorry, what did you say? I didn't understand. Sorry.
Oh, he was asking you what you were saying. So go.
Radu, the military is no fun.
I know.
Military, stay out of it if you can.
And when I get old,
Unless you want to make it your career, your life. But
Yeah.
when I grow up, I mean, I want to be, I want to join the SRE. SRE means some kind of FBI. I mean, security, not security, sorry, intelligence
Yeah.
service of Romania.
oh, good for you. Good boy. Nice talking with you, Radu.
Me too. I just wanted to say thank you,
Good
and
luck,
it's
good luck to you, young man.
thank you a lot. You do too. I mean, take care because it's COVID and it's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I had COVID myself, not on the. It wasn't bad, but you have to stay like 2 weeks in the house, and it's not
Yeah.
good.
For sure. For sure. All right. Well, Radu, it was great to meet you. And
too.
hopefully we'll talk to you again. Get that camera fixed.
Yes, I want.
All right. Cool.
I have a nice day, and yes, thank you, Mr. Melvin.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your interest. And good luck to you and your country.
Thank you a lot. You too.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Romania.
Romania. Yeah, I told you they were coming in from all over the world.
Romania.
All right, Nathan, you're coming in. I think this is our buddy from Ireland. It could be, should be. And I think
Ireland.
Nathan was talking about his grandfather.
Naughty jokes about Ireland. If I can't tell them.
You got naughty jokes about Ireland?
Hey, there he
Nathan,
is.
can you hear us?
Who is this?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This is Nathan.
Hello, Nathan. I'm Melvin, Nathan. How old are you, Nathan? How old are you?
I'm 12.
12. All right.
And he lives
12, yeah.
he lives in Ireland.
What city are you near? Any big city?
I'd be near Galway City.
Galway?
Yep.
All right. You're a nice looking young man,
Yeah.
Nathan. You have a nice question for me today?
Thanks. Yeah.
Go ahead.
My question is, what scared you the most?
What scared me the most? Taking off.
Yeah.
Taking off in an airplane
Hmm.
is the most frightening part of flying. They told us, and I think it's so. When the plane takes off, it has to have the proper speed and so forth, and everything has to be just right. And you never know when something's going to happen. When we made up our crew in at Dill Field in Florida. And we flew up to Savannah, Georgia. And we stayed overnight. And next morning, we took off about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was pitch black outside. And the plane in front of us exploded.
Wow.
And we went over this field. We're about 30 seconds behind them, you know, or a minute behind them. And all see the whole field, the forest was just one fireball.
Gosh.
So, you know, you never know. And they had just taken off, and it was terrible because we had just had dinner the night before with that crew. And we hadn't known them before, but we had dinner with them. So they exploded. Must have been a malfunction with the aircraft. And they just don't know. But I
wasn't even from
always
enemy
was
fire, it was
apprehensive
just-
when taking off.
That was just a freak accident?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
in the United States, it's like, they just made up a crew.
Wow.
I guess everybody was lost.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Explosion.
Wow.
Now, Nathan, you were telling me that, what is it, your grandfather was in a bomber? Is
Yeah, my first cousin.
oh, your cousin. Okay.
My first cousin.
Do you know much about him
Yeah.
and any of those stories?
I don't know much about him, but all I know is that his name was Robert Michael Mulgrew.
Was he in World War II? Have you heard me?
I can't tell if he's frozen or what. It just went, I think he's frozen. Uh-oh.
Stops.
Yeah. I was like, he's either thinking really hard about this or he's completely frozen.
Big war, huh?
He's completely frozen. I was going to give him
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes, but your screen is frozen. So did you hear Melvin's question? He said, was he in World War II?
How old was your cousin?
Oh, boy.
I
Okay.
think we lost him.
Oh, no, he's back.
Yeah.
Okay, you're back. So we're asking about your cousin. Was he in World War II?
Hello?
Oh, no.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but I don't think you can hear us, Nathan.
Oh, I can hear you.
Okay.
Do you have a question for me?
Mm.
Go ahead with your other question. Oh, God. All right, Nate. Sorry, buddy, but I think we've lost proper
Nathan.
connection.
Nathan, thank you very much for coming on.
Oh, shoot.
Thanks, Nathan.
Must be that Irish Wi-Fi. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on there. All right, so let's see. We're gonna bring in Frederick, and then Connor, and then Patrick. So Frederick, Connor, and Patrick,
Where do you get these people?
get ready. They're in a lobby waiting to talk to you. They're all coming in from YouTube.
YouTube.
I don't know where we get them. They just show up.
Oh, there he is.
Man,
That's Frederick?
this is Frederick coming in. Can't remember if we've met Frederick or not.
Frederick,
I definitely don't know how to say his last name. Luftblad. I don't know. Frederick, can you hear us?
Hello, Frederick.
He's muted. I asked him to unmute. Can you hear us, Frederick?
Yes, yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but can't see you though.
Okay, hold on
All
a
right.
minute.
All right. We're holding. We're holding. There he is. Frederick, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Good. Where are you coming
Where are you
from?
from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Sweden.
From Sweden. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm calling from Sweden. It's the first time I'm using this app, so I'm a little bit. I was a little bit confused.
All right.
You're like
It's
me.
working.
Well, cool. Well, you're live with Mr. Melvin Hurwitz, so go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to. I've never had the chance to talk to a World War II veteran before.
Very
And
cool. That's why
especially-
we do this.
My pleasure to talk to you, Frederick. It's an
Yeah, I
honor.
would.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and I would also like to thank you for your service for your country, and many people owe their freedom because of what you and you guys did there. So
Thank
I
you
really
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to ask you about when you were on a mission in the plane in the B-17. If you suddenly feel the urge to go to the toilet with all the equipment on and so on, how did you manage that? How did you guys manage that?
Interesting
The
question.
honest truth is, I don't remember. I really don't remember. I know they had ways that you could use a little bottle or something like that to relieve yourself. But I just don't remember having that problem, Frederick.
All your Coke bottles were multifunctional.
There were ways, but very, very uncomfortable, and certainly not at 35,000 feet. You could not open up.
I assume there was no bathrooms on the plane.
Oh, sure.
You just had to deal with it. Yeah, that's stuff I don't ever think about. Like when even the guys like on the ground, like in the middle of battle, like that lasted
Oh, that's
days.
different. Oh, yeah.
Like-
What else, Frederick? What you got there?
Yeah, I also have a question about the German anti-aircraft defense, about the flak gunners. How was that any accurate? How accurate was the German flak gunners?
Well, it was accurate enough to cause a lot of damage, but they used that flak for almost the full 5 years of the war. That was from the very beginning. That was their main way of trying to down the airplanes, aside from the fighters. And they had the guns that shot up the flak stationed at strategic places all around the city, and they knew where the vulnerability was for the bombing areas, and they had them, and we would get there, and then they boom, boom, boom all around you. I saw one plane I saw go down was hit by flak.
Now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the war movies. Is their portrayal of what it looks like from the air pretty accurate from what you saw?
Big
This
black,
constant big black
yeah, right. That was
smoke
accurate.
explosion
Like big
just
cloud.
everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Did it actually look like that?
Yeah, of course.
Oh.
When to look like things flying out, you have to be very close.
Yeah.
But it looks just like a big explosion of a black puff cloud.
Did your plane get damaged?
No,
You're very lucky. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. For
I'm
sure.
lucky, Joe, because I came the end of the war.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm not kidding anybody.
Yeah. And what date did you actually come in?
What?
What date did you actually come in?
I should have brought my, I'd have to go get my discharge paper. It was
Oh, that's
summer
okay.
summer 43.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Well, Frederick, you got another one?
Well, I have many questions, but I don't know if I have the time.
All right. Well, if you, we'll give you one more if you got it.
Yeah, I have a question about how was at the end of the war. How was I understand that the German Luftwaffe was non-existent. So how was the German fighter command? How effective was that at the end of the war?
Well, the Germans did not have the oil to put up the planes. They also had a scarcity of fighter pilots. The Luftwaffe was generally ineffective the last, say, 6 months before the end of the war. The Allies had complete control of the skies. But the German fighters, the Luftwaffe, the pilots, were known to be very smart, very tough, very accurate, and wonderful opponents, if you want to put it that way. They were well trained, and fortunately, we persisted and we overcame.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Frederick, it's great to meet you. Thanks for coming by. You got one last thing you want to say?
Once again, I want to thank you for your service, Mr. Melvin. I really appreciate it, and I've been interested in World War II since I was a kid, and especially United States Army Air Force and the Allied aircraft of the Second World War, and I've also collected some items from that time also.
Very cool.
Well, what you say is so. I think you have to sort of give credit to the Royal Air Force, the British, because they went through hell defending their country, and they had many battles with the Luftwaffe, and they eventually came out victorious. But because of the Battle of Britain was saved by the Royal Air Force, and then of course we came in, and there was another story.
Absolutely. It's definitely an allied effort, man.
Yeah.
Lots of people played a big role in all that.
Thank you, Frederick.
Yeah, thank you too. Thank you
Good
too,
luck.
Mr. Melvin.
Good luck to you.
Thanks, Frederick.
Keep reading, Frederick.
Thank you, guys, and stay safe.
All
Stay
right,
safe.
you
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.
All the way from Sweden. Let's see here. So, Melvin, can you see that?
Hey, yeah.
Great photo.
What do we got there? What are we looking at?
That's me on the upper left.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
This is Terry. This is Hardin. He was the man in the middle. He was the oldest one. He must have been about 35 years old. And he was the biggest one. And he was a ball-turned gunner. He was the gunner in back.
Looks like Tom
cow.
Hanks.
A Frenchie. He was a French boy. And he was the one who painted the back of our A2 jacket. And this is a boy engineer from Waffenges Falls, New York. This is a co-pilot.
That's awesome.
Hey, Skip, this is Baker Inc., the bombardier. This is Stan Caster, the pilot. And this is the navigator.
Wow, I can't believe you remember that. You remember a lot of names there.
Hey, before we go on, could you tell us a little bit about the bombing missions that you have when you guys use napalm? Because that's the first I heard of that in Europe.
Yeah.
Really, they were doing napalm over there?
I've got something here, which I'm gonna read to you, because at the end of the war, this mission was flown on April the 15th, very few weeks before the end of the war, and there was a pocket of German resistance on the coast on the English Channel across from the islands of Guernsey and Jersey. Probably heard of them. And it was Royan, France. And there was a pocket of Germans in there that would not give up. So they let them stay there because they had too much other business to go to try to take Normandy and so forth. But they decided that they wanted to get rid of this German group at the end of the war, and they would not give up. So they decided they would burn them out. So this is what happened. It says here, for this mission, the group returned to Royan, France, and dropped incendiary bombs. 30 aircraft were airborne, and all were credited with sorties. Intense black explosions caused by bombs of previous groups destroyed most of the 493rd strikes and so forth. And it says, today was going to be a rough mission as we knew we were carrying the new firebomb. Briefing was at 3:40 and we saw our target to be a German pocket of Bordeaux with 122,000 Jerry's. We were to lead the 2nd Squadron into the target where 27 guns were reported. We went out to the ship and pre-flighted it, finding one bomb linking badly. We could do nothing about it. We carried no guns or ammo, so gunners did not go. Takeoff was at 6 in the morning, assembled over Belgium, went okay. And we took a course using 100% oxygen due to the gas fumes. We climbed to 15,000 feet and bombed at 11 a.m. We took out the right wing's window and opened the escape hatch in order to take pictures. Bombs away was at 11:12, and the bombs went away like eggs, and they had no fires to gun them. All below was flame and smoke, and the 15 pictures were good. Jerry had a hot day, just 2 to go. I went and observed and so forth.
Jerry had a hot day.
These were incendiary napalm bombs. It was the first mission to use napalm, and that was the end of the war.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
I remember the bombardier called me over. He said, hey, Sparky. They called me Sparky because I was a radio operator. He said, hey, Sparky, you want to see something? I said, yeah. I said, look down there. I see these big bundles, look like tubes, all tied together in the middle. And they were dropping down like that. And that was the napalm actually wanted to show to me because we never done that. We usually dropped the big bombs, but these are, and then they splattered there, and then the planes behind us came and used regular bombs, and it didn't work the first day. But then the second day, it worked and they gave up.
Oh, wow.
That's the story of Royan, France, and they used 6 85-gallon napalm, 200-pound SM, 2,700 gallons.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, Melvin, we got a new person in here to talk to you.
Okay.
This is Connor, and Connor, you're on with Melvin. Tell him how old you are, where you're from.
Connor.
Mr. Melvin, I'm 16 and I live in Lafayette, Louisiana.
All right. Nice to see you, Connor.
So if you notice here, I have some questions for you. So be ready.
Oh,
My
he's ready.
question. So what were the names of your parents and how many brothers and sisters did you have?
Okay. My father was Benjamin and mother was Ray, A-R-E. I had 3 brothers and no sisters. We're 4 boys in our family.
And as he told us earlier, all 4 of the boys served in World War II.
And each boy was in a different branch of the service.
Yeah.
There's a side to that, another side story.
They all
I
made
got a
it.
call one day to come to the orderly room, and I came, and the captain says, Sergeant, I have a notification from the Red Cross that you should take a week's leave. Your mother's had some a nervous breakdown or some sort of a problem, and she wants to see one of her sons. And I was only one in the States at that time, and they sent me home. And I spent home for a week, and she got better, and I went back. I was stationed at Yuma, Arizona at the time. So I was gunnery school. So that's my answer to there. What's his name?
Connor.
Connor.
Yeah.
How long did your parents live, and are any of your brothers still alive?
I'm the last one. My youngest brother died about 2 years ago. So I'm the last one of our family in our whole line. And my parents died, they were 65, 70 years old. It's like that.
Wow. So I know you were in the 8th Air Force. My great grandfather was part of that unit. So where were you stationed?
I was stationed many places in the United States because I went to different schools and so forth. But I was stationed in England in the 8th Air Force, flying B-17 heavy bombers out of England over Germany, Czechoslovakia, and France.
Well, one of the stories that my pops told the family that he saw General Doolittle passing through. So I was wondering if you saw Doolittle passing through or getting to meet him, because he was his commanding officer.
No, I never saw. General Doolittle, by the way, was mostly involved in medium bombers, the B-25s and B-26s. And that's a plane that they use also to bomb Japan and in the Pacific. So I had no contact actually with any major officers in my tour.
So how many missions did you flew over Germany?
One over Germany, 2 over Czechoslovakia. Wait a minute. So on April, let's see, I flew Nauen, Germany, Nauen, Germany on April the 20th, marshalling yards. That was the last combat mission of the 493rd Bomb Group. It says on this day, there were 29 aircraft airborne to combat mission 157.
Wow.
That's interesting. Another story. That was the last mission that the 493rd Bomb Group flew, and the war was basically over. One plane did not come back.
Wow.
Last day, last mission, and one didn't return, whatever the reason.
Oh, man.
So, like they say, when your number is up, you can fly 50. And I've got something here I want to show you.
That's just horrible. Like right before it's over.
That's terrible.
Man. What you got for us, Melvin?
Somebody gave me this book. One of our customers at our store. Have you seen this book before? It's called One Lucky Bastard.
No,
The
Connor, don't use that word, Connor. Wait, you gotta be 18.
What's that?
I'm just giving Connor some lip.
And they named it One Lucky Bastard Club out of reverence, not to be crude or use a bad word or something, because in order to belong to this club, you had to go through 2 full tours of duty. Now, a tour of duty was 25 missions. If you opted to go to a second tour, then you had to do another 25 missions. So to become the One Lucky Bastard Club, you had to put in 50 missions. And this was a very select few.
Oh, wow.
So this is written by this Colonel Ellen Werfel. Another story.
Are you in the One Lucky Bastard Club?
One Lucky Bastard. So where were we? So you asked me what how many German did you say? Well, I did one to Czechoslovakia, two to Czechoslovakia,
Sidetracked a little bit.
and one to Newfoundland, Germany, and yeah, and one in France.
And one of the other stories that my great grandfather told my grandmother is that one of his Baltic gunner had to go to the bathroom, but my pops wouldn't let him because they were still in German territory, and his Baltic gunner accidentally peed his pants
And you want to feed his pants? Yeah,
and got the Purple Heart for it for frostbite in his wiener.
good story. Well, when my grandchildren were little, they would ask me about the war, and I would like to entertain them. So I made up a story. That, what's the funniest thing that ever happened to you, Grandpa? I said, well, we had a ball turret gunner that had to make serious business, and he didn't know what to do, so he had a lunchbox. So he emptied the lunchbox and he made it in the lunchbox and then threw it out over Germany. And then from then on, his name was Sam. Then on, we called him Lunchbox Sam.
Oh man. Oh
So,
boy.
Did you have any?
Up that one, Connor.
Yeah.
Did you have any guys that had frostbite?
What's that?
Did you have any guys in your plane that had frostbite in Germany?
No. We all wore proper protective gear. No frostbite.
That should be the standard question when people come in. Did you ever get frostbite on your wiener? Connor's got me all mixed up now. Oh my gosh, Connor.
Don't let Connor lead you astray.
I know. Oh boy. All right, Connor, do you have another question?
Yes.
Get us back on
Mr.
track, Connor. Get us back on track.
Mr. Melvin, I was wondering, what did your brothers do during the war?
Well, one brother was a Marine. That was very interesting. He was a Marine and he was an artist. He went on to be a famous world art educator. He's written about 14 books on children's art, but that's another story. But he was a combat artist in the 1st Marine Division in World War II. And he was in Guadalcanal, Peleliu, Okinawa, all the big ones. And what he would do, he would go up in little Stearman Cub airplanes. He used to have 2 wings. And he would sketch the landing areas. And they would come back and they have these big tables with sand on them. And the guys would look at the sketches and make landing areas from the sketches that along with the photographs. So that was his job in World War II. And he's got his, a lot of his work is at the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico, Virginia. My other brother, William, was the only officer. He went to officers Canada school. They were called 30-year wonders. If you're a college graduate and you went to officers training school in the Navy, in 30 days you would come out an officer. So they're called 30-day wonders. But he used to say that they were called 30-day blunders. And then I had a younger brother, Jerry, who was in the Army itself. So all 4 boys were in different branches of the service.
That's very cool.
And all came back, Connor.
Mr. Austin?
Yes.
I was wondering, because I saw Joe Conway interview some World War II veterans, and I find that pretty amazing. But I was wondering if you knew Fourth Infantry Division veteran Floyd Wickfield.
No,
Yeah,
I
I know Floyd.
Joe knows everybody.
I know Floyd. Floyd's a great guy.
I was wondering if is there a way I can talk to him or not?
It's a little hard to hear on the phone, but it might be possible. It might be possible. I'll
Connor, send me an email. Send me an email.
Yeah.
We'll try and
We'll
get
see
that
what we
set
can
up for
do.
you. For sure.
But one last thing before I go, Mr. Melvin, I'd like to thank you for your service and protecting for our freedom. And if it wasn't for you, all our freedoms would be lost and we wouldn't have any freedom to say anything or speak or have rights. So thank you for saving our country from tyranny and oppression. So it means a lot to my generation and our generation too.
thank you so much. You're a bright young man, Connor, and I'm proud of you. And I know you do good things in your future. And thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. See you, Connor.
Yeah, see you, Connor. Thanks for calling in.
I love that. Thanks for coming on the show. I guess this is a show, right?
Yeah, it's a show.
I never really thought
It's some kind of show.
On today's show, we got Mr. Melvin Hurwitz. So, we're going to be talking about World War II, all right? All right. All right, we got Patrick coming in. Patrick, hopefully he's still with us. It's like this Patrick is in the Philippines, and it's like probably 3 in the morning right now for him.
Last week you were on for like 4 hours.
Let's see if he's coming. See if he's still there. He's probably asleep. That'd be hilarious. You enjoying yourself, Melvin? You doing all right? You need to take a break? You got some water?
And then just the throat, a little. I have to take a little drink of water or something.
Yeah. Do you have any water with you?
Let me take a break until he comes on. I'll get a little drink.
Let's see if I think he's.
Is he here?
I think he just came on. Let's see.
Patrick, that's okay. I don't have to.
There he is.
Hello, Patrick.
Hi, Mr. Melvin.
Welcome from the Philippines.
Yeah. Almost 4 a.m. here.
Yeah, it's like 4 a.m. there.
Like with a cigarette.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Patrick, go ahead. You're on with Mr. Hurwitz.
Yeah. I got 2 questions for Mr. Melvin.
All right.
Mr. Melvin, instead of if you joined the Army Air Force, why instead of fly a fighter plane, why did you join as a crew member of B-17? Because I am a really huge fan of Air Force, any country, like Richard Bong, Wade McCluskey, Richard Best, Harbert Horn, and Eric Hartman from the WWII Squadron. So why did you join the B-17 crew instead, flying a plane?
Austin, can you help me out there?
I said, why did you choose to join the B-17 group?
Well, it's another story. I was in the Air Force, and they sent me to flight training, and I threw up. I flunked out, like they say. I did not make it into pilot training.
Oh.
So then they sent me to the National Army Air Center, where you were tested for aptitude to what you would be best suited for. And as I mentioned before, I came out good on the Morse code test, and they made an radio operator out of me. And that's how I ended up where I was. That's how I became a radio operator.
Nice. Does that answer your question, Patrick?
Yep.
Nice.
How was your last mission as a B-70 crew before entering or train? Because I saw the description, you start training using the B-29.
What's the
How
question?
was your last B-17 mission before you went to the B-29?
Oh, that's another story. Um,
All right.
the war ended in Europe. The war ended in Europe, Patrick. And I flew back to the United States from England and I had a 2-week leave. From there, I went out to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to an airfield where they decided what I was to do next. So they sent me into B-29 training in Clovis, New Mexico. And I was in Clovis, New Mexico, getting ready to train for B-29s to go to Japan. And while I was there, I never got into a B-29. They dropped the atomic bomb and that ended the war. And that's all, like they say, that's all she wrote. I came home.
Yeah.
War was over. I looked at the B-29 from afar. It was a monster. The B-17 that I flew in was supposed to be big, but it looked like a matchstick compared to the B-29. It was really something to see.
Yeah, those things are huge. Like in real life, when you see one, it's unreal.
That's the plane that dropped the atomic bomb.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you are supposed to be to be part of the Operation Downfall there, invasion by the U.S. invasion of Japan.
No, Patrick, there was a lot of noise on your microphone for some reason. I didn't hear what you said.
Okay. So if this happened, you will also be part of the Operation Downfall there, right?
What is it, Austin?
I think you said you were supposed to be part of Operation Downfall. Is that what you said, Patrick?
Yeah.
I've never heard of
The
it.
Japanese not surrendered.
Oh, had the Japanese not surrendered?
Yeah, because the U.S. was planning to invade the main Japan, right?
I would have gone into B-29 training and then going to Guam, wherever the airfields, Philippines, wherever they had air bases, we would bomb Japan.
So were you basically geared up, ready to go, assuming that you were going to be going into Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's crazy.
What were your thoughts when you heard about him dropping the bomb?
Well, at first, I really, I was a kid. I
Yeah.
really didn't know how serious it was. I mean, I dropped the atomic bomb and said, so it was another big bomb. But then a day later, it started to sink in that this thing was mass destruction. And that's all she wrote. And I dropped a second one. But when I first heard it, there was another bomb. The word atomic didn't mean anything to me.
Sure.
Yeah, it was kind of a new concept. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, Patrick, thanks for staying up again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick.
Always good to see you.
Austin.
Yeah.
Are there any chances that I can talk some World War II veterans who fought during the liberation of Manila? Just any survivors till now.
World War II veterans
Who fought in the
fought
liberation of
Philippines.
Manila? Like the liberation of Manila.
Oh, the liberation of Manila. Joe,
Yeah, I
do you
think
know guys?
maybe the 7th Division, U.S. Army 7th Division, and
I know nothing about it.
Do you know any guys personally, Joe?
I did. I'd have to check my contacts, but yeah, I did know some guys, but I have to see if I'm still able to contact them.
Yeah, we'll look into that, Patrick. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to talk to some of those guys for
Thanks.
sure. All right. Well, good to see you. Go to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. You want to say one last thing to Melvin?
Yeah, Mr. Van, thank you. I want to say thank you for your service. that you've done for the rest of the world, and stay safe. God bless.
Thank you, bless you. And I'm so glad you stayed up so early in the morning to do this. I hope it was worth it.
He joins us every week. It's awesome.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. See you, Patrick.
See you, Patrick.
All right. So how about we do one more, Melvin?
Okay.
You okay with that? All right. So we'll do one more. Let's do Spencer. Spencer's been waiting in the lobby for quite a while. So let's bring Spencer in and then that'll be it. Spencer, you're coming in.
Hello.
Think we know Spencer? Hey, Spencer.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. How old are you? Where are you from?
I am 17 and I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Arkansas, Little Rock.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Very cool. Well, you're on live with Mr. Melvin Hurwitz, so the floor is yours.
All right. So I just want to say thank you for your service. I just like learned about this this program through my World War II class, and I don't know if my teacher is watching, but yeah.
Cool. You'll get some extra
That's great.
credit.
Yeah. My first question would be, did you guys think you were going to be sent to the Pacific Theater after the war in Europe was over?
Then I went to the Pacific. I did not go to the Pacific Theater.
Well, he was asking, did you think you were going to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
the Pacific? Yeah,
Oh,
we were,
there's
we
no
were just
doubt.
talking about that.
We were just talking. I went into training for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Spencer, your microphone is really hot. Is there any way to turn it down? I don't know if there is or not, but
I could probably grab another headset if you want me to.
that's all right. That's all right. Just
It's not too bad.
It's really loud, so you can just talk quietly.
Oh, okay, that's the issue. All right. And all right. So my other question is, were you in the Battle of the Bulge or D-Day?
No, I was over there at that time. But our planes were grounded because weather was so bad.
Mhm.
And, when the weather cleared, we were able to take off. I was not personally involved with that sort of missions, but the 8th Air Force was stymied because of the weather. 2 or 3 weeks of bad weather. It was cold and snow, and couldn't take off. But so I was not involved in that. But I was there at the time.
Yeah.
All right. And were you ever involved in the bombings of Berlin, or did you know anybody who was?
Not Berlin as such, no. That was earlier on. I was Czechoslovakia and another city, but not Berlin.
Okay. And my final question would be, I heard you were a Boy Scout or a drummer for Boy Scouts. Did you ever make the Eagle rank?
I was an Eagle Scout. I think Eagle was about as high as you could get.
Yeah.
I was an Eagle Scout.
Made it to the top.
I'm almost there. I scout to do my Eagle Scout project.
Nice.
Oh, good.
Yeah. All right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, Spencer, thank you for coming by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Sure.
I have a friend in North. I have a friend in North Little Rock.
I'm near that area. Yeah.
She is a treasurer and vice president of the 8th Air Force. Her name is Dr. Nancy Toombs, Toombs.
Huh.
And she lives
Spencer,
in North
Spencer.
Little Rock.
Who's your teacher?
His name is Coach Fogelman.
Logan. I think I've emailed with him.
You heard
Yeah.
that name? Yeah. She's my
Coach
friend.
Fogelman, yeah, I've emailed with him.
What high school is it?
Catholic High School for Boys.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right. Thank you for your service, sir, and it was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, Mr. Hurwitz, it was absolutely a pleasure to meet you and get to know you and hear your stories. Hope
Okay.
you enjoyed yourself.
Had a wonderful time.
Great.
Excellent. Excellent.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I love,
Thank you. I want to thank Nicola. I want to thank Joe Conway and Nicola Wang for being so good to me and taking care of me and introducing me to Best Defense Foundation. And I want to send the best to Donnie Edwards. If he were here, I have a lot of NFL stories to tell him, but
Well, he'd love to hear him, I'm sure.
yeah, we'll get you on the phone with them. Well, cool. All right. Well, Melvin, we will hopefully talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Joe,
Thank
thanks
you,
for
sir.
coming
Thank
on
you.
and
My pleasure.
spending this time with us today. And we will see you all again soon.
All right.
All
Be in
right.
touch. You
Bye.
promised me a T-shirt.
What?
All right. Well,
Promised
yep.
me a T-shirt.
Oh yeah, we got to get you a T-shirt.